I guess three things that the rest of the world is tackling. I think first of all, as I mentioned, there's this huge focus on building trust and engagement with the customer. I think for so long the industry has developed products and then pushed them out to the market and not really thought too hard about what the customer actually needs. And I think that's contributed to this trust deficit that we talked about earlier. So I think one key trend is actually understanding much better the customer need, and then developing products that meet that need, but more importantly then interacting with the customer in the way that the customer wants to be interacted with. And it can be any form, from face-to-face to online, to using tablet and mobile. It's basically responding to and interacting with the customer in the way they want to be interacted with. So that's a very big trend that we're certainly seeing, and I think very relevant here. I think linked to that, the second thing I spend so much time talking about is data. Now the insurance sector, certainly in, I guess, the more emerged or more mature markets, is awash with data, and a very strong view that data can deliver a unique selling point for the particular the particular participant in the industry. The challenge is really accessing that data. Tends to be on old legacy systems, quality of the data, and then actually interpreting it and analysing it and using it to predict outcomes, to develop products, to understand the customer better. So I think there's a very broad theme around data and use of data. And I think then linked to, again, what I think is very relevant to this part of the world, and I think where you have an advantage, again, over some of the more mature markets, is the deployment of technology. I mean, the advances in technology have been immense, and we all, only 5 years ago I'd have been stood here and wouldn't know what an iPad was, I guess. So, we know how rapidly technology is advanced. In the markets, where I come from, their challenge is utilising that new technology in an environment where they've got huge legacy issues. Their technology tends to be very old, it's difficult to interact with, and it needs replacing. And I think the big development is it's now possible to do that. We see a number of the very big players investing a lot of money in what they call IT simplification, really addressing the legacy estate. I think the potential advantage you have here is you can take the new technologies and deploy without having to deal with some of the issues of the past. So I would say in summary, the three key things is really, it's all about the customer, putting the customer front and center. How do you leverage the vast data pools that the industry has? And then how do you really leverage and make the most of the new technologies that are available?